going on, lovely KJ?
Hi.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us your story? Tell us, um, tell us what you did before you got your resume done, what you translated to, and how your salary increased over time with the resume and guidance from us.
So I went from, like I said, I was like 75.
Hmm.
So what happened was I was fell into the reorg when everybody was reorganizing their stuff. So I got laid off. And I had been following you for a while. And then I had went to I just sent you my stuff. I was like, it's time to revamp.
Hmm.
So I sent you my stuff and just looking. And I was in project management, but I was in the public sector. So I was in government.
Okay.
And we all know how that pay goes,
Hmm.
never, right?
Hmm.
So I went to public. And I went to public and that's
So
how
you transitioned from public sector project manager in government to private sector,
Mhm,
and so that's how you did. You just did one jump. It was just one move.
mhm,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. It,
So it was going from I was in staffing, project management for staffing,
okay.
and then I went to health tech.
And then you went to health tech. Yep.
Hmm.
And that's typically how it goes. That industry change, but you had a very transferable title. Um, Project management is a very transferable title. What's your first name? I want to be able to just pull up your file real
Kelly.
quick. Kelly.
Hmm.
And oh my God, there's so many Kellys in here.
Smith.
Um,
It's the norm. It's ain't nobody ever gonna find me because it's such a
okay.
generic name.
Okay. Right. It's gonna be 100 of them that come up.
Hmm.
All right. Man, you know what? And it's another Kelly Smith. Okay, tell me something. Tell
Um,
me.
Lidos.
Oh, the company.
Lidos.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So actually, all right. So this gives me some really great context because your title. So it looks like your title was program staff project
Hmm.
manager. Okay,
Hmm.
and then you transition. So that is great. Is there anything that you would say, like any advice that you would give to someone who has bought our product, our coaching, or our resume, who's not having success, like something that you did with your job search specifically, or using your resume or using your guidance that you feel like made this easier transition for you? And how long were you on your job search?
To be honest, I wasn't in my job search that long.
Ooh,
I don't know if it was fate or I was at the right time. I wasn't in my job search long, to be honest with you. I
okay.
was in my job search less than a month.
Less than a month. Okay.
Less
Okay.
than a month. I actually prior to that, I had actually got an offer. I had got laid off on like a Tuesday, and actually had my first offer that Friday. And I did accept that role, but it was still in the private sector, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had kept looking in public, and then that's when I had got that role within public within before my severance was up, before any of that, before I had disconnected from private. I had got that role
Okay.
within public,
And
so it wasn't long. The only thing I can suggest is just don't give up. That's it. Just don't give up. And even if you have to make a few tweaks, because I did have to make a few tweaks of my own within what you gave me, but it wasn't much. It was just changing my accomplishments on my resume myself, just what I've done, just to kind of correlate to what the job
Mhm.
description was.
Okay, so like if they're asking for something specifically, it's not on there. You
Yeah.
like, oh well, I do got that experience. Let me add that line. A
Yes.
tweak. Okay.
Yes. Just a tweak. It wasn't nothing major. Like I said, I still use that resume to this day. I still, to this point, I don't apply for jobs anymore. I don't. They reach out to me.
Okay,
Um,
so where do you have your profile? Is it like, do you have your resume on Indeed or LinkedIn? Where are you generating the reach out from, or the outreach rather?
my resume is everywhere. I am not gonna hold you.
Okay.
I'm on Wellfam, LinkedIn, Indeed, everywhere. But at this point, I get recruiters. I've been recruited by a lot of tech companies, Google, Workday, um, a lot of them. Microsoft. I've gotten a lot of recruiters. Comcast. Blue Cross Blue Health. I've gotten a lot. I've turned down because I'm just not looking. I'm pretty secure where I am right now.
Okay. And I'm sure that you've updated your profile to add your new role, right? So they're probably very interested in the health tech,
Mm-hmm.
what you've done for health tech.
Hmm.
Now, did you stay within the area of like staffing
Mm-mm.
or no, you just transitioned? So what type of project management are you doing now?
So now I'm into, like I said, health tech. So now it's like implementations of system
Mm-hmm.
upgrades. So, and bringing on new clients within the health field. So new health plans, generating new health plans.
Now, let me ask you this. What are some, and if you could just name top three, what are the top three skills, proficiencies, or systems that you would advise someone who's trying to break into health tech to learn? So I'm talking about stuff like maybe like Google Sheets, Excel, SQL, Salesforce, things that you don't necessarily have to be certified in, things that a person could just be proactive and like get a free trial and learn or go on Coursera and learn to make them more marketable.
Smart Sheet.
Smart sheet.
Everyone is
Okay.
using Smart Sheet right now. Google Docs, definitely. And PMBOK. You have to get PMBOK down. You have to get that project management body of knowledge. You have to get that, learn the terminology, even if you're not in depth with um, PMBOK, learn the terminology. You have to be able to carry the conversation.
Okay, spell
Um,
that for me. Spell that out. The
uh,
acronym.
PMBOK. I got the book right here. I still keep my book handy. I need to pull it up.
Oh, that's a good, now that, okay, see, now this is what I'm loving about that is because this just goes to show how you have to be so invested in your
Yeah.
career, nurturing your career, reading literature. You don't just go from 75 to $189,000
Mm-mm.
by, well, first of all, you could get there, but you got to maintain it,
Yeah.
right? And that's the
Hmm.
part. So I
Yeah.
really love that you have that book handy.
Hmm.
I love what you said about Smart Sheets because it was Excel versus Google Sheets, right? So everybody
Hmm.
was like, well, Excel is better, Google Sheets better. But now you're right. Smart Sheet
Hmm.
has really been a trailblazer because it's smart. I mean, it does things
Yeah.
automated that Google Sheets,
Yes.
well, you can do automated functions on Google Sheet, but you got to code them yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
So
And
and
yeah.
that could be difficult,
Hmm.
but and then it's like if you share the sheet, your code don't always share with the sheet.
Right.
So, so Smart Sheets is a great one.
Hmm.
The one thing I will say is that people who use Smart Sheet tend to think that it is only for project management. What are some other ways that you've seen Smart Sheet used outside of project management?
So I've seen it used just for tracking purposes of daily tasks. That's the
Okay.
biggest thing that's used because I'm in the project management office. I work in the PMO.
Okay.
So it's used for daily task tracking, which is not project management, because it's the easiest way to do it, and you can have everyone working it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to, not like Excel when you got to get out, refresh, save, check in, check out, all that dumb stuff. You can, everybody can work in the same time. It's live action updates. As soon as you save it, it's there. You can use that to kind of generate some tables. And I think the best way I've seen it used is, you gotta love that the workflow stream. You have to love that because
Mm-hmm.
it just provides in-depth data when everybody is working on it. Like a certain implementation I'm using now, it's about 50 different, no, I'm not gonna say 50, it's about 40 different areas all working, and we do collaborate off each other, but nobody has time to talk to each other. So it's
Mm-hmm.
easier just to go into their work stream and see what they're doing, what they're accomplished, and if a task that you're dependent on has been completed or not.
Wow.
You
Okay.
don't have to
Task
keep reaching out.
dependency is very important. So you're not having to wait. And see, that is something too that I feel like when you talk about talking the talk and knowing the language, terms like task dependency,
Mhm.
cross-functional collaboration,
Mhm.
being able to collaborate. So we collaborate all the time at work. but being able to collaborate in an environment where you're not talking to someone. I think
Yes.
that when companies ask for like project management or cross-functional collaboration, that's really what they're looking for.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times the only way to convey that to the employer is to say, I know smart sheets. But if you don't know smart sheets, then how do you collaborate in your work environment? And that's where tools, when people think that, oh, the skill section isn't important. Well, it is, because if you say that I'm fluent in Slack, or you say that I'm fluent in smart sheets, or you say that, you conduct smart sheet analysis to track task dependency to prioritize your workday. Those are competencies that a good project manager needs, even if they've never managed a project before. So you're just speaking on some really good points that's got my mind clicking, even when clients ask questions and stuff like that. So I love that you said that task dependency. That is like one of the catalysts of
Yes.
cross-functional work is I can't do my
Yes.
work if your work ain't in, and I can't spend all
Exactly.
day waiting for you to write me back through the chat, and you know what I'm saying. So
Exactly.
that is great. And then another thing that I'm really pushing right now is that I think, and you can maybe speak to this, so one of the advices that I'm giving people who are growing their career that are currently in a role who don't have these technical tools is, why don't you use smart sheets? Of course, don't share any proprietary information, but why don't you use smart sheets? Why don't you use Asana to manage your own workload, and then calculate how much time you saved in a week
Mm-hmm.
and show that to your manager? Number one, it'll give you the opportunity to speak to the tool, and not just in theory, but in practice, even if the whole team isn't using it. But two, it could get you a result, because let's say before you leave, you done implemented the whole
Yes.
team and got the whole team in Asana. You
Mm-hmm.
done got the whole team in Smart
Mm-hmm.
Sheets. And now you could say, well, when we started and we weren't using, I led the implementation. When we started and we weren't using Smart Sheets, it took 100 hours a week to do XYZ tasks. Now it's
Yes.
taking 50 hours a week. Well, a lot of people feel like, I don't know how my company will feel about me using a software that everybody else isn't using. So that's specifically what I'm asking. What has been your opinion, especially in implementation? How do you think companies would respond to that?
This is my suggestion because I have done this. What you do is when you want to use something or you want to be noticed for something, take that one thing and add it to your annual evaluation. When they ask you for that one thing that, you know,
Oh, you brought your volume.
implement a smart sheet work front stream for the PMO. I'll just say that.
Okay. Okay, so we lost sound
I'm
after I
sorry,
want to
someone
implement.
called me. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay, okay.
Let me.
One
That
sec.
one.
Okay, now your sound
Mhm.
is back. Okay, you
Okay.
said I want to implement in your 101, I want to implement a smart sheet, and then it
Yeah,
went
just
out.
say I want to implement a work front or a repository for the PMO for all of our ideas that we come in. We want to be able to track them and know what we have so that when we do have a downtime or something, we can go back and see what we have, start working on it, but we don't have that right now. So what I've done in the past is that I make that my one innovative idea for my annual review. I'm holding myself accountable and I know that I have to do it. I place that item into my annual review. I take whatever software it is that I want to learn and want to use. That way I have a whole year, 9 months, whatever to do it. And I'm tracking and I'm holding myself accountable to it. And that way I can bring it back to my manager. This is what I did. These are the steps that I've taken, how I've implemented it. If I'm able to pull another colleague on board that can devote some of their time, I've done that and it's worked out well.
Okay, I really love two things that you said. First thing is, you got to have a certain type of attitude. And your attitude isn't, I'm doing extra work for free. Your attitude is, I have an innovative idea that I want to get credit for. And I want to emphasize this because some people have like resentment because they're underpaid or they feel like they're undervalued. I want to emphasize this, that your results are your own. The company benefits because now you could talk about your idea outside of the theory and inside of practice. So the company benefits, but the equity in your idea is what's going to take you from 75 to
Yeah.
189K.
Yes. And now
Okay.
you've made yourself a SME, and now
Yep.
they have to depend on you.
Now they
And
can't
that's
let
going to
you
get you
go.
know right now. They made you notice. Now you're moving into different areas. Now you have that cross collaboration. Now other area, now other functions want to know. Okay, how can we implement
Mhm.
smart sheets in our areas, and how can we use it? And Kelly, can you help
And
us?
here's you made me have another thought. Here's my second thought to the initial thought. When you pull in other team members, that's really how relationships are built.
Yeah.
Because okay, any person or team member, whether they're on your team or a cross-functional team, and you just think that they'll be beneficial because of their SME, you'll say you now you're leveraging relationships.
Yes.
So now it's building your professional network. Because
Yes.
even if that person leaves, they not only work with you at a team level or at the same company, they work with you personally. They can speak to your work. I don't know if you guys are seeing on LinkedIn where people are leaving each other reviews.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you get those reviews, those endorsements. Like, oh yeah, I worked with Kelly when she implemented the repository implementation for innovation tracking on a $5 million project, whatever. Oh
Yes.
wow! So companies see the endorsement. She not lying on her resume. That really happened.
Right.
So it's covering the relationship management perspective, but also what you're touching on, and this is something that I see feedback that I'm hearing from people that are being laid off, right? The person who trained them. So I've just recently have been working with a client, and she's telling me about the person who trained her, been at the company 8 years. She got laid off, but the lady who's been there for 8 years didn't get laid off. Well, the lady who been there for 8 years, she built the sheet.
Hmm.
Okay. And nobody else know how to work the sheet. They only know how to run a report off the sheet that she
Right.
built. So when you talk about idea innovation, what you're really doing is fighting for your spot to
Hmm.
stay on the team. So I want people to start looking, and you could tell me if you think that my theory is inaccurate just based off of your observation. But I want people to start thinking about um, your job, like when you get into tech, layoffs are the new interns.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, what they're doing is they're giving you an opportunity to see what type of value you can add to the team. And the people that are just coming and doing functions that a machine could do are not valuable. But the people who are coming and doing a function like innovating ideas, implementing them into practice, taking ownership of the idea, documenting the progress, you're reminding the company why they can't let. Hey, okay, fire me if you want to. I bet you'll be calling me to consult.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. And
I
I'll tell
agree.
you this, even having myself programmed a Google Sheet, don't just program your sheet. Write down how you programmed it.
Hmm.
Write down how you did, not to share,
Hmm.
but because what you build is so complex that sometimes you gonna fucking forget how you did
Yes.
it.
I agree with that.
So don't just build it. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? I'll
Hmm.
actually document what you did, screen record what you did, even if you don't have time to put it together in steps now
Hmm.
for later. Because
Hmm.
sometimes you build something really great, and the moment something is messed up with it,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
like, I don't even know how we got here. So even I do that with resume writing. Like I'll open up 10 Word documents and then I got to put them in one file under the client because it's like I didn't brainstorm so many parts of
Yes.
this. You know what I'm saying? So if I had to do this
Yes.
again, so
Hmm.
always keep documentation of what you built. If you get an opportunity to come in
Hmm.
there and get some experience, build something.
Yes.
Also, the reason why I say that build something is because from the other perspective, a lot of people feel like when they are being interviewed, that them saying I was laid off is their excuse. It's like their hall pass. But what it also
Mm-mm.
shows is that you were the intern that got cut.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
So that's something, and either you were the intern that got cut because you don't provide anything valuable,
Hmm.
or because your time, attendance, adherence, they couldn't fire you.
Yeah.
But layoff was the opportunity to trim the fat. They're looking, you look like a piece of fat that has been
Yes.
trimmed.
Yes.
But that information should also inform your job search in terms of the complexity, what type of roles you should be targeting. Because if you were the fat that's trimmed, then your next opportunity needs to be taking that feedback, becoming a valuable member, and staying when they make talent
Yes.
cuts. Um, to pull yourself out of that. So that's something that I think that is important is like just because we get bad feedback don't mean we stuck in that
No,
place.
it
So
doesn't.
your
No, it
next
doesn't.
opportunity, look for a opportunity where they're targeting fat,
Yes.
where they're looking to bring on a bunch of people and cut them off. And so I would say that those are opportunities where there's like mass hiring, where they're hiring a training class, where they're hiring 10 or 20 or 30 people, where they're doing some hiring and they're going to make cuts and use the feedback. Last time you got laid off, okay, well, you don't know smart sheets, you don't know how to build something. Show them your book again.
Yep.
Hold your book up. Get you a book.
Yep. Get your,
You know what I'm
and this
saying?
was only, I think it was only $20 on Walmart. This is
Okay.
not expensive.
And if it was
Yeah.
20 on Walmart, I bet you
Yeah.
it's 17.69
Yeah.
on Amazon. You
Yeah.
know?
It's not expensive. This is not expensive.
Yeah.
But if you're going into project management, you need this.
Okay.
You need that.
Well, listen, I am so happy that we got to connect, and we got to, you got to give me an update. I hope
Okay.
that you continue to stay connected because I love this.
Yeah.
I love this.
I was just looking today. I was like, I need to send her my resume because I need to get it redone because I'm back out on the market.
Okay, well, let's do you will be considered a white glove client at this point.
Okay.
So I highly recommend the white glove experience. And because you are an existing client, I could do a really good welcome back offer for you. So I have your email right here. I'll go ahead and send you an email. I'll send you the package. And basically, what the white glove experience includes. You could do the white glove resume only with a one-on-one call or the package. So basically, the package includes a detailed career coaching report. You want me to show you what one looks like?
Yes. Oh, and I want to add this, y'all. I want to add this. I don't have a college degree.
Hey, let's
I
talk
do
about it.
not
But
have
you know
a
what?
college
You know
degree.
what you have though? Hold that book up again. That's what you have. You have training and you're a
Yes.
subject matter expert, and
Yes. I do
that's
have
the
that.
important takeaway is you don't the reason why people get degrees is to develop subject matter expertise.
Hmm.
That is one way,
It's,
not the only way. It's a
it's
way.
not.
It
It's
is a
a
way.
way. It's
It
a
is a
way.
way.
And when I was
And
a staffing manager and I was hiring people with masters and doctorates and the salaries I was offering, I was like, Jesus Christ. Y'all
mm,
got y'all got school loans higher than this.
mhm, mhm, mhm. All right, so I'm going to show you an example. Now, this is just another client's report, but this is example of what the um, white glove experience includes. So
Yeah.
basically, you're going to get this is the package. So you're going to get a report that shows
Mhm.
you 3 different ways you could leverage your experience to
Oh,
grow.
okay.
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 And then it's also going to analyze how you rank for the recommendations.
Hmm.
And then it's going to also show you the best path forward, the top recommendation, and it's going to show you courses for upskilling based off where the market is going.
Oh, okay.
And so essentially you take the
Recommended
report, you review the report, and you say, sample one, I want my resume targeted for sample one. Then we go in, we retailer the resume, and then from there, you not only know what your resume is targeted for, but you also know what type of opportunities you should be searching for within your job
Okay.
search. So that's how that works. Now, like I said, you could do that in a package, or you could do it. If we did a one-on-one call, you get the same information, but we're limited to 50 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so that means that my research isn't as thorough. I might
Hmm.
not be able to get to the courses. I may or may, you know what I'm saying? So, but we always
Hmm.
get to the direction. And then both include the same quality of resume. So that's what we're doing now. Because what's happening is that job titles are transforming because now what's happening, people think that technology is just replacing some of these repetitious positions that people hate anyway. High burnout positions are being replaced by technology, but everybody's not replacing them with technology at the same time. I don't think people realize how expensive these softwares become because you're charged per seat and you never really get to own the software. You're leasing the software. So it's not like this is just going to happen overnight. It's going to be a slow squeeze. But what's most important is that so now that certain tasks are being automated, how does this transform the traditional job title? So a lot of people don't understand, well, where do I fit into the new market if my goal is to work with the technology instead of trying to, avoid the fact that it's coming? How do I work with it? How do I, and I'll even tell you this, in my role, I work with ChatGPT a lot. ChatGPT doesn't write my resumes for me. It's not capable. ChatGPT told me I can't write a resume like you because it said you're using a proprietary framework that needs to be trademarked. Chat told me this because I was
Oh
like,
wow.
from everything you know about working with me, create a step-by-step guide on my process for transition to resume. It couldn't do it. It couldn't do it. So that made me realize that what we're doing is when we work with ChatGPT or DeepSeek or these other artificial intelligence tools, you're actually a prompt engineer. You're engineering
Yes.
prompts the same way someone would engineer a code.
Yes.
It's just that you may not know the data science language. You're using words to articulate a
Yes.
command, right? That
Yes.
is a highly desirable skill because you need exceptional communication. If you
Yes.
put your same resume in ChatGPT and told ChatGPT to rewrite it for you versus if I did it, our prompt is going to determine how good it comes out.
Yes.
Most of the
Yes.
time when I'm using ChatGPT, it's that I just wrote the resume in a rough draft. Here's what I wanted to convey. But instead of opening up my thesaurus, instead of opening up to find the industry jargon for this or that, that's what I use it for.
Yes.
So I'm just saying all that to say that technology, how we work with technology, how we work with the artificial intelligence is transforming our title. I'm not a resume writer. I'm a resume engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a career coach. I'm a career strategist. Why? Because now technology has changed my title. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
So
it has. It has. And we have to all get on board with it. I'm not going to say the company I just consulted with for a year, but it's a large company, a large HCM, and they recently did something huge. And now there are individuals that now manage checkbox. You're a project
mm,
manager and you manage checkbox
mm, mm,
to do. They laid off a vast amount of people
mhm.
and they replaced them with chatbots.
Now,
And you manage those people now.
now that that is some piping hot tea. And let's talk about the layoff section, right?
Mhm.
All right. So they just laid off a whole bunch of people, and I want to bring the parallel to this. Did you all know that some of the companies that's laying off are hiring?
Oh yeah,
A company can lay off 500 people and be hiring 500 people
yeah,
at the same time.
yeah.
But the
To
news
bring
ain't
the
gonna talk
salary
about that
back
part.
down, to bring the qualifications back
Yep.
up, so that they can lowball and they can get those old people out of there, and they can get those lower benefits. All of
Oh
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
it's so many
yeah.
reasons.
Oh yeah.
But the
Working
thing
on
about
the
it is,
HR side at one point. Oh yes, I definitely know all the tricks to the trade. I've
but
seen it.
nobody's gonna sit and write a news article that says such and such company, Omada Health just laid off 500 people.
Mhm.
They gonna say that because it's sensationalizing. Oh my God, there's so many people in the market. And see, the job market is just like the stock market. If they can make your confidence low, they can lower your salary. But here's the thing: most of the clients that I work with are not necessarily tier one talent. So this is something that I also preach, especially to my clients that are abroad, because I get a lot of clients from like Jamaica, Kenya, Africa, but this also applies to American clients. Instead of trying to be a tier one candidate when you're not, sometimes your best strategy is the fact that you will do it for less. So if
Yes.
you make 50,000 now and you're applying for a position that traditionally paid 100 grand and now they're offering you 75, That's 25,000 more. Number one. Number two is going to offer you a life same say a life changing title.
Mm-hmm.
Because okay, maybe you are a operations specialist, but they giving you an implementation manager or project manager title,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get your PIM book.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You learn smart sheets, and now
Yep.
in a year or two, you survive that first round of
Mm-hmm.
layoffs. Now in a year or two, now you can go into a 100K role.
That's right.
So a lot of people get so caught up with this whole salary transparency
Mm-hmm.
conversation.
You
You can't compare your
can't.
salary just based off a title,
You can't.
because people have relationships that impact salary.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing is, well, people be like, well, she didn't have a degree, I have a degree. Okay, but she built the system. Okay, but she innovated an idea that they need that's business critical right now, and so they needed to keep her. So that's why, you know what I'm
She
saying.
has historical knowledge, and that outweighs everything. That
Exactly,
outweighs
exactly,
everything.
exactly. And then also just understanding, and a lot of people don't like when I say this, I am an advocate. What I do is rooted in social justice, but the
Mm-hmm.
reality of it is that where do we rank, right? So it's white people, Asians, blacks, and then the Mexicans, and then everybody
Mm-hmm.
else. Okay? That's just the reality of it. Your advice, your career advice needs to be culturally sensitive, because the type of conversations that white and Asian people can have in terms of negotiating salary, the stance that they can take in interviews, we can't always use their strategy simply because of how we're viewed.
That's
That
right.
is not saying be oppressed, that's saying play the game.
That's right.
One thing that my mother always taught me: don't argue with a police officer in the field, defeat him in court.
That's right.
Don't argue in the interview. Don't ruin the opportunity. Don't sour the relationship. You know that this is wrong. You know that it's not there, but it is what it is right now. So you could work behind the scenes to change it. But in the meantime, play the game. Play the game, and sometimes know your role. Know that you're competitive when you will take a lesser salary than tier one talent,
That's
because a
right.
company may have a customer success manager position where they have to pay 125K for the position, but the person don't really do anything special. And the
Right.
fact that you'll do the same thing, nothing special, and take less may be why you're competitive. Competitive is not always experience and education. Competitive is sometimes what you'll do the
That's
job
right.
for. And as long as there is benefit to you in terms of your salary increasing, and your salary is not increasing to the effect of, I took a $5,000 salary increase, but now I'm paying all of that out of pocket in health insurance.
Right. Exactly.
A true
Exactly.
salary increase and a title change that you can shop later to make more money. A true
Yes.
title change, a true salary increase, and an environment. Okay, I'm taking this 5 or 10 grand salary increase. It's going to give me a more competitive title. And now I can say I work for a software as a service company. Now I can say I use smart sheets every day. Now
Mhm.
I can say that I, you know, worked at a startup. You know what I'm saying? The things that are in demand right now. Now I can say I actually work for a digital health company or a
That's
tech
right.
company.
That's
And so
right.
those things are going to get you more
That's right.
salary too. So
Yeah.
just considerations. And
And
I
it's
want to also say
skills. You just and sometimes just
the
getting those
skills,
skills. You want to get the skills under that position and under that title that you can transfer later into a new role where you can get everything that you want. Sometimes you do got to take a step back just to take a step forward, and we need to remember
mhm,
that. We need to remember that. Sometimes you do just gotta pace yourself a little bit, and that's okay. Okay.
which brings me to the thing. You got to know where you are in your career. So some people in their career, you're at a place where you're trying to get on track, you're trying to get a chance,
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to get a title, you're trying to get an opportunity. And then some people are in the place where they got the chance, they got the opportunity, they got the title, they leveraged it, and now you're really trying to build a
Yeah.
profile. Stop giving your employer the power to build your profile.
Yeah.
When you only leverage opportunities. For example, your job didn't buy you that book. You bought that book for yourself and you keep
Mm-hmm.
it. So you didn't let your employer limit how fast you could grow.
Right.
You didn't let your employer limit how frequently you can grow.
Mm-hmm.
You said, they're going to give me a title. They're going to give me an opportunity to apply my theories, to apply my practice, to develop my subject matter expertise, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take ownership. And that's why you went from 75K to
Mm-hmm.
189K and kept it. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm gonna add
Mhm.
using our services, because
Yes. 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 Because the resume gets you through the door. The rest you do have to
exactly,
do.
to do,
Yeah.
and you got to defend your throne every day.
Hmm.
But I want people to be excited about building a profile. Take ownership of your profile. So what if you hate your employer? So what if you hate the clients
That's
that you work with
right.
right now? That's where you add in your career. Work it, make the most out of it.
Hmm.
When I even in business, I first started this business. I did resumes for $5.
Oh
Okay,
goodness.
you think I like that? You see what I'm saying? You think that was fun for me?
Right.
But what it did was, now how much can I charge? And it's not just, do I charge that because I can? It's because I done built a whole framework. I done built a whole systematic strategy. That's what I'm known for. When you say you went from 75 to 189K, I'm known. That's what we're known for. Now everybody's not gonna have that level of success
Right.
with our
Right. Right.
services. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you stick with it, you can grow. If you stick
Yes, you
with it, you
can.
can
That's
transform.
right.
But that's what I'm known for, is dramatic career transformations, unlocking the equity that you may not have known that you had. But it started, who gave me the opportunity to apply my theories? $5 clients.
That's right.
And I didn't like
That's
it.
right.
I didn't love it, but I did it, and I learned, and I built something
Build
up,
it.
and now my
Yeah.
career is based off that.
Mhm.
So I think that people should also be
Oh,
self-aware enough to know where you stand. You're not a
that's
tier one
right.
candidate.
That's
Okay.
right. And
Sometimes
that's okay. That's
yeah.
okay. It's
And
okay. Hmm.
sometimes companies don't want a tier one candidate, because tier one candidates are not always the best team players.
They aren't, because number one, they're stuck in their ways. They know everything, and you really can't teach an old dog new tricks.
And let's take it a step further. Let's take it a step further on a tier one candidate. When you say they're stuck in their old ways, it's because, well, this is how I got here. This is
Yes.
how I'm going to stay here.
Yep.
But the market moves faster than your mind.
Yes.
Number
Yes.
one. Number two,
Yes.
their disposition. Their disposition is that, like, I'm better than you, or I'm smarter than everybody on the team. They look at you like everything you say is
Yes.
stupid.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those are not always. Now sometimes, if they're looking for like an analyst or someone where quality
Hmm.
is a big portion of the position, but that's where, when I say stop just applying to every job, you could read the job description and determine if they're looking for an egotistical person
Hmm. Yes.
or if they're looking for a team player. A
Yes.
team player is not always a tier one candidate. So that's the one thing. Humility can get you an offer over a person who's a tier one candidate. Being personal, they like to call it the personality hire, but hey, um, the personality hire,
Hey, that's fine. It's a hire.
it's a hire, but they keep the team together.
Yes, they do.
They keep the team.
They do. They
So,
do.
and because you the personality hire today, don't mean you're gonna be the personality hire tomorrow. It doesn't
That's right.
matter. Get in
That's right.
there.
That's
Accept
right.
where you are right now, and instead of making it cause you to resent your employer, let it be the fuel that causes you to say, all right, I gotta be a tier five candidate. I gotta be the personality hire. I don't want to stay in this place. I don't want to be the personality hire. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna work my opportunity. Take ownership of
That's
building
right.
your career. Don't leave that in the hands of the employer. Period.
That's right. Absolutely. I agree with everything you just said.
So,
Everything.
well, it was great chatting with you. I'm sure you got things to do.
Yes. I'm watching this clock because I got a meeting in 15 minutes.
All right. Well, go ahead and prepare for your meeting. I'm going to send you an email with some options so that we could work together
Mhm.
again. But this was a great conversation.
Thank
I
you so much.
love learning about your journey and hearing more about you.
Thank you so much. You have a great day, and thank you for all of your help and
You're
me
so
getting me here.
welcome. You're
You have a good
welcome.
one. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye.